Hey everybody, and welcome to another Berserker Claws podcast show, or Berserker Claws show. So, today on my show, I have a thing on my mind right now. I'm actually getting a little pissed off at the WWE. I don't understand what the hell's going on with the WWE and why they're getting rid of all these wrestlers and why they seem like they are getting rid of all these people to make room for all these new wrestlers, but people aren't even watching the WWE like they used to. I mean, they got rid of R-Truth, for God's sakes. One of the greatest, wrestlers that I've ever seen. I think he's funny. I thought he was a pretty good wrestler, and he was a really good camera person. He had a really good personality on camera. And you wonder, why they're getting rid of all these great wrestlers and all these great people. But I'm wondering, I also read in a poll, in an online poll, that 95% of the people that watch the wrestling just watch it for the women's wrestling. Yeah, there's like these guys that watch it for the women's wrestling. That's the only reason why they watch it. Because they always sit there and be like, well, what do you really watch it for? And this guy goes, the women's wrestling. And then there's like a poll that says like about 90% of the people that watch wrestling watch it for the women's wrestling. And I remember like back in the day, like they used to have a thing called Glow, which is the gorgeous ladies of wrestling. And it was women wrestling, and guys thought that was like really like different. But it was also, a lot of people watched it, and they thought it was really funny and stuff like that too. But the one thing that I don't really understand is why, when, wrestling, everybody thinks it's a male-dominated sport, but everybody who watches it is watching it for women's wrestling. Now, I've seen some pretty crazy stuff on my Facebook pages over the years and stuff like that. And one day, I was sitting there on my Facebook page and I got a feed that came across, and it was for, excuse me. It came across my feed for a thing for midget wrestling. Yeah. Like little people wrestling. And I saw that, and I thought, dude, there's all kinds of wrestling for all kinds of people. I mean, back in the day, there was Lucha Libre wrestling with, like on Telemundo, and there was all, Mexican wrestling, and it was really cool. They had wrestling for all kinds of things. Wrestling's very popular and everything, but the WWE just does not seem like it's very popular anymore, because after John Cena became a heel or became a bad guy, everybody's like, oh, John Cena's just terrible, he just sucks, everything's so bad, and everything's just not cool anymore. But I don't really know. I haven't really watched a lot of wrestling, but what I see is, I see a lot of people talking about it. It comes up on my Facebook feed all the time, and 90% of the things that come up from the wrestling that I'm watching has to do with the women in wrestling. Now, Rhea Ripley, she had on a R-Truth shirt one day when she was coming into work, or coming into the WWE, and this is just moments after he got fired. So, you just gotta wonder, what? Why are they getting rid of all these good people? And then today is, I saw something that was Mick Foley's birthday today. Mankind. Dude Love, Cactus Jack. And I saw that was his birthday. And so, he's turning 60 today, which I think is really cool. And he's looking pretty good for himself, So, he's doing all right. But the WWE just seems like it's falling apart, and I don't understand that. Maybe it's just that I'm missing out on something and I need to watch a little bit more. But I remember back in the day, when we went to my friend Jordan's house, we would go to Jordan's house for pay-per-views all the time. His house or Jake's house. And I would always bring like 2 steak and cheese subs or 2 cheeseburger subs or a lot of food for myself, you know? I'd basically sit down and eat these subs, and I'd sit in my chair. I had my chair that I sat and watched the WWE at Jake's house, and I had a chair that I sat at Jordan's house. And before we watched the pay-per-view, we would always have like we would play like a video game, like No Mercy or something like that. And what we would do is we would have our characters that we created in the game, and then we would load our character creation up and bring it over, and then we'd have a battle royale, and we'd also see what was the best tag team. The best tag team was always WD-40, which was Matt Ginnebaugh and TJ White, and we would have these fights, and it would just go on and on and on, and it would just go back and forth until the battle royal was over. And it was something that was talked about, and it was loved, and it was great, and it was really fun, and it was really cool. It was really fun and collective and everything else. Kind of reminds me of Miss Davis. Well, the lady was driving a Corvette Camaro, and Miss Davis drove a convertible Mustang in the movie Varsity Blues, and I was like, oh, it kind of reminded me of Miss Davis, this lady that was in the movie Varsity Blues. But anyway. So yeah, we would go over to Jordan's house, and we'd have these pay-per-view matches. We'd watch these pay-per-view matches, but then we would do we'd take the video game No Mercy, which was on Nintendo 64 or PlayStation or whatever, and we would buy a wrestling. Jake or Jordan would have a wrestling game, and then we would have our preview pay-per-view. So we'd have our thing that we set up, for us, and my guy would always come out to some crazy music that would be like ba 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 check, and he would come out and he would shoot a rocket launcher into the thing, and I won for I won for best intro. Yeah, because I had the best intro for my wrestler. Yeah, for some odd reason I had best intro, and then best tag team was WD-40, which was Matt Ginnebaugh and TJ White. And TJ White used to do like a special knee to the nuts or something like that. That's what his thing was. And then Matt did like a pile driver or a punch or something like that is what he did. And so yeah, then they did the WD-40 drop, which was the tag move. like Devon Dudley and Bubba Ray. And it was called the WD-40. And hey, what's up, Mark? So they would have we would watch these pay-per-views, and we'd have these wrestling events, and we'd have these things going on, and people would and then we would just love it, and then we'd watch the pay-per-view. And the funny thing is that I used to tell Jordan all the time, I was like, Jordan, why don't we just have a day or a weekend where we all come over and we watch No Mercy videos, or we make up No Mercy matches, and then we, bet on them to see who wins. And he's like, that's kind of weird. And I'm like, yeah, it is kind of weird, isn't it? So, yeah, I have to go pick up people from the airport. I gotta go to Brainerd. I pick them up at 8:30. I think it's like 6:30. I mean, it's already 7 now. I mean, I'm trying to get there. I mean, I understand that I, take my time and do things, but I'm also trying to get down there. It doesn't take very long to get down to the airport when you're, flying down the road. You really don't have anywhere to go. But I mean, it's already 7 o'clock. I can't believe it's already 7 o'clock. I mean, I clocked in at 6:30 or 6 o'clock and got my van and everything, and then went and got some food, and I was like, Jesus Christ, time went by so fast. You know. Yeah, the messed up thing is I forgot to get water. Yeah. I didn't get water. I get water all the time. But, anywho. Yeah, so, you know, and then we would have those pay-per-views and everything, and that's what I remember. But the WWE, I think, has just gone downhill. I really think the WWE has gone downhill. I mean, from what I've seen, but maybe I'm wrong. You know, I haven't been able to watch, you know, on Monday nights because I'm working when Monday Night Raw's on. I don't save like onto my TiVo or onto my thing to watch, you know, events or something, because, you know, it just, you know, watching it after it happens, you know, you already see the stuff come up on your Facebook feed all the time about who wins and everything, so you're like, oh, this is stupid. Why watch it when I already know who won? You know? Somebody told me, they're like, well, aren't you going to do a podcast for the wrestling matches? And I'm thinking, like, why should I? I mean, the matches are already over and nobody really gives two shits about wrestling anyway. Cute couple. It's always funny when you see an elderly couple like driving in a Chevy pickup together, and they look like they're so happy, and you wonder, you know, if they're gonna have a great life together. You know, one of them's gonna outlive the other one, and then, you know. I mean, I hope someday in the future, when things, you know, get turned around, if I ever, you know, start dating again, which I probably am not going to. Well, no, I'm probably not going to date anymore, because the thing is I haven't been able to find anybody that's even worthy to talk to, because they've all been fake. Everybody that I talk to has got a fake profile. I mean, there's some people that seem like they're pretty legit, but they also seem like they're, you know, kind of creepy, and, you know, they don't seem real. So you get kind of worried. You kind of wonder what you're getting yourself into, you know? And it really kind of bothers you. You know? Because you don't want to be hurt and ghosted and catfished by all kinds of women in this world, or all kinds of people. Even men do the same thing. Men, you know, catfish women all the time too. But the only reason why I'm single is because I haven't been able to find the right one. And also, I'm not even looking. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm going through a divorce. So I'm not even interested in, you know, really finding anybody. I mean, I say that I want to find the next Mrs. Claus, because the thing is, I play a camo Claus. You know, I play a camo Santa, and I like having, you know, somebody in my life that wants to be around me when I do the Santa thing. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, that's just how it is. But I'm not really interested in finding anybody, because most of the time, everybody on Facebook has got like a fake profile. Like, I've been going on this website called Shield Maidens and Valkyries, or Shield Maidens and Vikings and Shield Maidens. And Vikings and Shield Maidens, I thought it was just a place to learn about Norse mythology and learn about whatever, and now it's turned into a gothic or a place for women to post up their OnlyFans pages and talk about how they're trying to be Vikings, but they're not really, trying to be shield maidens, but they really don't seem to know anything about Viking mythology except for what they watched on the show Vikings or what they read in books. But do we really honestly know a lot about paganism and Vikings? No, we have to really read it on our own, because there isn't any book or there isn't anything to really read that helps you out to become to better your knowledge about Viking folklore and stuff like that. There really isn't anything for that, because the thing is that when you talk about Norse mythology and everything, it's kind of like people kind of push it off as a joke. Yeah. They kind of push it off as a joke because they want you to they want you to believe in Christianity. Yeah. Which Christianity is not a bad thing. No. Yeah, Christianity is not a bad thing. But I really don't get into that. So messed up world, though. We do. Yeah. No, we live in a crazy, messed up world. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, it's so weird. We live in a place where friends nowadays, or people, judge you for who you voted for, or judge you for why you hate a certain person. You know, like me, I dislike a certain pop star who sings music, but you know, I don't actually like her music and I don't really care too much about her, you know, and I'm hated on for that because I don't like a certain pop star. Yeah. So I'm hated on for that, I guess. But there are girls that even put on their profiles that if you're a Trump supporter, swipe left. Or that if you like Donald Trump, swipe left. Well, what if you like America, you know? And you like America for the way that it is, and you don't even give a damn who's in the White House. Yeah. You just want to make sure that, you know, you just want to make sure that your money that you work so hard for actually, you know, goes back into your pocket or goes into fixing something around here to make the world a better place. That's what we wish that would happen with our money. I mean, there's so many people who work so damn hard all the time. They go to work, they do their taxes, and then they turn around at the end of the taxes and they're like, dude, I didn't make shit. Or no, I'm paying so many taxes, where the hell's all my money going? You know? I mean, the world we live in is just completely and utterly going up shit's creek without a paddle, and some people can't even see that. They can't even figure it out. They can't even fathom it. It's just like sitting there, you know, it's like sitting there dead on a toilet phase, you know what I'm saying? I mean, 90% of the people in this world just are worried more about themselves and worried more about themselves than what's going on in the world. Yeah. Because they're trying to figure out if they're going to end up, like something bad's going to end up happening to them. Like some people are afraid that they're going to end up going back to their country because they don't have, you know, papers. Or they're not a U.S. citizen, or they don't have documentation, you know. But, you know, I mean, it is hard to get citizenship. It is. It really is. To go get the citizenship testing, it's really hard to do. I mean, you gotta go to the office when it's open. You have to literally jump through hoops, and you have to pay like a second mortgage just to like become a U.S. citizen. It's like it's really hard. It is, and it sucks because people are making it so hard for anybody to enjoy themselves. Yes, which I don't understand why that is. But and then you have somebody tell me, well, you don't understand it because you're a U.S. citizen, so you don't have to worry about it. Well, no, but I have friends that I worry about all the time who come over here to work here all the time, or who come here to, you know, to live and to be here, and they want, you know, they don't want to end up, you know, going back scared or going back to their country in like in a bad way. So I mean, it's just, yeah, like my friend Marcella, she was saying that the other day. She was so afraid that she might end up having to go back to her country, because, when her work visa runs out, yeah, Marcella, she was like, when my work visa runs out, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, well, they're probably going to send you back to your country, and then you just wait a little bit, and then you get another visa again. Yeah, because she's on like a work visa is what she's on, so, yeah. But, so yeah. I mean, we live in a crazy, messed up world. Yeah, I heard they're getting rid of so you go to White Castle, right? So the 1921 burger that they have at White Castle, the one that's got lettuce and tomatoes and stuff on it, yeah, they're getting rid of that. Because it wasn't a very popular burger. As many times as I've ever gone to White Castle, I like the 1927 or the 1921 burger. You just put bacon on it, and you got yourself a great little sandwich. Because it's got everything that White Castle offers for a burger. Yep. Tomato, lettuce, onions, pickle, cheese, and bacon. You just have to ask for bacon on them. But since they have to make it in a special burger maker, they get all mad about it. Now the employees are all butthurt about it, so they don't want to make them anymore. Yeah. I found out about that from a White Castle here in Minnesota. They're like, yeah, it takes a special burger press to make it, and a lot of people don't like to do it, and they don't like to make them, so, and that's another reason why we're getting rid of them, is because they're not fun to make. But then, a new chicken sandwich that they're coming out with uses the same thing. It uses lettuce and tomato and stuff like that, so I don't know why it's the end of the world, but for some odd reason it is. I don't know. I find it to be very funny that the world we live in, people complain about everything. Wow, there's so many deer on this little construction road here, or this yeah, so the testing road in Minnesota, the testing road, there are two deer leaned up against the Jersey barriers over here, because I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to run across the road, and then they hit the Jersey barrier, and they can't get over the thing because they can't jump over it, and they come out of the trees. So you'd think that they would build a wall to keep the animals, or build an underbridge so that the animals can walk underneath the, so build like an animal crosswalk. Yeah. But build it so that they go underneath the highway. Because, they do have those in Iowa. Yeah. And animals use them because they have fencing around it so that it forces them to go through the underbridge, and then they go underneath it, and it doesn't bother them. They don't get killed, they don't get hit, But I don't know. It's just one of those things that people wonder, will it work, It must. Who knows? I'm going 63 and the thing said I was going 73. So how the hell am I supposed to win on that one? Yeah. And then I've always thought of, things to do and, things to, start up and, wanting to start up a business and everything. And starting a business up is a really iffy subject, man. Because, if you start a business, how long will it last before it goes tits up? I mean, how long will the business seriously go before it goes tits up? I mean, how long will it go until somebody's like, "Oh, dude, you're not gonna make it. I think you should sell," and then you sell your business, and then it goes up shit's creek without a paddle. You lost money. Because I remember back in the day, a friend of mine, his name was Cam. He opened a comic book store, and he wanted to do all kinds of things with comic books, and he put so much money into the investment. Yeah, he put so much money into the investment, and he did, really. I thought he was going to do well, but he only had the business for a couple of years. I think he had it for maybe a year and a half or 6 months, or I don't know. But he started doing all kinds of stuff, like selling anime and hentai and all this kind of stuff, and Crunchyroll, and he started selling Pokemon cards and everything else too. And you thought it was going to take off, but then it crashed and burned, and it sucked. And I felt so bad for Cam. And now Cam is a woman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cam is a woman now. Yeah, he was, Cam was talking to me about the surgery, and I don't know, God damn it, you douchebag. You fucking started going faster once you saw the car on the side of the road, asshole. God, I hate semi-truck drivers when they fucking do that shit. Well, there's a car on the side of the road, right? And then the semi-truck driver started speeding up because he wanted me to get over, because he wanted me to go around the thing. Like he's got somebody fucking goddamn lugged us. He can't drive down the fucking road. Ass nuts. I'm sorry, but sometimes truck drivers use their damn semi-trucks like they're the only thing on the highway, which really kind of pisses people off. But, whatever. I don't care. Just drive and be safe, whatever. But 90% of the time, when you drive a semi-truck, most of the time, you're supposed to be in the far right lane, because you're not driving over 70 miles an hour sometimes. But whatever, I'm not really worried about truck drivers. I don't really care. I mean, the guy just pushed me off the damn road is what he did. Because I was in a groom van, he's like, "Oh, I don't care about this guy." So whatever. So, yeah, Cam had a business, and now all of a sudden his business went down, and now he's a woman, and he's living his life as a woman now. And I still to this day feel bad that Cam never got his business going, But starting a business is one of those things that you just think, is it going to go great? Or is it just going to blow up in my face? And 90% of the time, people don't even know what the hell they're getting themselves into until all of a sudden it's a reality check and it turns around and blows up in their face. Just like that, you know? And it sucks. Yeah, it sucks. And, like, you see all these people that do, like, startup businesses all the time. Like, you see these guys that, you know, start up things all the time. And you wonder how they got their start. Yeah, you wonder how they got their start. You wonder how, you know, like, did they come into some money, or did they win the lottery, or yeah, like, I mean, did they come into some money, or did something big happen in their life where they just got a business or something, you know, and then it just kind of falls apart, or it goes slowly downhill for them. And if you've watched something like your entire life, if you've watched like the Jersey Shore, or you watch WWE, or you watch like a TV show, you wonder how many years is that TV show gonna go until it falls downhill. Like the Bundys. Yeah, like the Bundys. The Simpsons. The Simpsons have been on all the time. Yeah. Family Guy. That's been, you know, going and going and going. And I always thought that Family Guy was going to be pulled off the air for some of the things that it says, but they've changed all their ways, and, you know, they've made it so that it's a more wholesome family kind of show. But, you know, you just watch all these TV shows and stuff and everything else, and it's just really kind of like a setback, because you're wondering every day when that show is going to finally just go, we're done. We're going to pull the plug and that's it. And you just wonder what kind of world we live in, where you wonder when everything is going to just, you know, happen to like me. Like somebody said to me the other day, they're like, Jack, you know, you sing really well. I think Jose said this. He said, Jack, you sing really well. You should, I think he said it or Zach said it, I can't remember. They said that you should come out and do an album. Well, first of all, Jack doesn't play an instrument. Yeah, I don't know how to play guitar. I have a guitar, but I don't know how to play it. No. I've never sat down or learned how to play a guitar. Because the one thing is my mind is like the Matrix. I have 8,000 to 90 billion things inside my head. And my brain works so differently than everybody else's. You know, some people can't drive a car and talk at the same time. But other people can text on their cell phone and drive a car, eat McDonald's, and do all sorts of shit perfectly fine. But, you know, I have in my brain goes 8,000 miles an hour. Like people wonder when I do these podcasts and these videos, the phone's on a hands-free device. I'm not even looking at my phone. My phone is right here, but I'm looking straight ahead. And I'm driving down the road, and I can tell you license plates, I can tell you distances, I can tell you that I'm going 73 miles an hour without any problem. And, you know, the speed limit's rising up to 75. But I have a limiter, so I'm going to bounce off the limiter, and I'm going to keep going. But my mind is going 8,000 miles an hour. And this is one of the reasons why I'm such a good driver, is because, one, I know what I'm looking for all the time. I'm not looking for the negativity of the way I'm driving down the road. I don't look for the accidents to happen. I look for a way out all the time, or I look to see my surroundings to give me a way to stay away from danger, which a lot of people don't do. Most people, they'll drive in the center lane and they'll set their cruise control at a speed limit that they think is relatively good enough, like 73 or 74. They'll set their cruise control and they'll go down the road and they'll drive, and they'll just sit there and they'll stare out into the wilderness. They'll look into their, they'll basically think about their car. They'll listen to music. They'll doze off. Yeah, they'll daydream. And they'll daydream about driving. And that's what they'll do. Me, what I do is I drive down the road and my mind is thinking, God, what's the person in the car next to me thinking when they're going 100 miles an hour past me? Or why do some of the people in America drive so crazy and stupid, like they have no patience? Like they never give themselves enough time. They never give themselves enough time management to make it in this world. They just kind of coast a little bit, and they just kind of like, they don't think, they don't take their time, they don't get it, They don't give themselves enough time management. See, in America, you used to be able to go to a store. You used to be able to get up on a Saturday morning, get up at like 7, 8 o'clock, make breakfast, and go for a car trip. But you had to pack the car up with stuff to go to the beach. You drive to the beach, and then it would be nighttime. You come home at nighttime, or you stay in a hotel. Yeah, you stay in a hotel. Yep, you stay in a hotel for a day, and then you come back in the morning. And you used to be able to drive down the road, and it wouldn't take you an hour or 2 hours to get somewhere. But now it takes you 4 hours or 5 hours to get somewhere, because somebody has to always be on their damn cell phone. They get in a car accident, and then they cause backups in traffic. If people would just drive their car and leave their damn cell phone down, the world would be a much safer place. If people would just have their cell phone on a hands-free device, not touching their phone, not even looking at their phone, just driving their damn car. And this is one of the things that pisses me off more than anything in the world. Elon Musk, Mr. I have all this money, I have all this, power and everything else. Why can't you make it so that the cell phone docks to the car and becomes a radio? Or the phone docks to the car on like a docking device and uses Apple CarPlay or Spotify or iHeartRadio or any of these music apps that are on your phone, and it's docked into the car, and the phone is completely hands-free. Yeah, the car is the phone is completely hands-free. So basically, you tell your phone, you say, if you name your device, so like if you're sitting in your car and you name your device and you say, hey, like you say you call your phone Ryan. You say, hey Ryan, call somebody or whatever. You name your phone. Yeah, you name your phone, and then that way you use like Alexa or Siri or whatever, and you use that kind of thing to control your phone when you're driving. But you don't need to use your phone when you're driving unless you're doing something like you're on a phone call. So if you're on a phone call, the phone works through the entire call or works through the entire car, and you are talking through a speaker. Yeah, you're talking through a speaker. And you talk to your phone, but you're using it hands-free. You're not touching your phone. Because even touching the radio sometimes can be a distraction to some people. Yes, the radio can be a distraction to some people. I mean, yes, I know I can eat a cheeseburger and drive down the road and it looks really bad because it looks like I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. No, I am paying attention to what I'm doing times 1,000. Because my brain works 1,000 times faster than most people in a car, because the thing is that when it comes to driving that car or driving that vehicle, I have to get that back in one piece every night to the office. Like, this van isn't mine. I mean, I don't own it, but the thing is that I would drive it to where it was like mine, and that I would get it home every night safe and sound. I'd get my passengers home safe and sound and everything else. Even though you're probably sitting here watching this video right now, you're probably sitting here going, dude, this guy's a complete jackwagon. He's driving down the road with his hands-free device and he's not paying any attention to what he's doing. No, I'm paying attention. I-394 is 6 miles away, which is 6 minutes. Highway 62 is 11 minutes, or 11 miles away, or 11 minutes away. So, I mean, it's one of those things that you have to learn how to train your body. And if you drive down the same road every day, Monday through Friday, you train your body to know your ins and outs of where you go. So I drive down 494 all the time, and I realize to myself that if I don't want people to run me off the freaking road, I need to stay in the far right lane. But I always have traffic coming from the right-hand side on on-ramps, so I need to stay in the middle. But the thing is that I only move to the middle when it's safe to, or when I have nothing coming from the right side. So I stay in the far right lane. I drive 65 to 64 miles an hour. I try to stay with the flow of traffic, and I always check my surroundings to make sure that I am not going to get my ass hit from the rear end by some stupid douchebag on their cell phone, or somebody who's not paying attention to what the hell they want to do. Drive the damn car. Because 90% of the time, that's what you're supposed to do. When you're in a vehicle, you're supposed to drive the damn car. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to drive the vehicle. You're not supposed to worry about your phone. You're not supposed to worry about, the song on the radio. You're not supposed to really do anything. That's one of the reasons why I don't play the radio. If I play the radio because, one, it's just something to listen to. It's ambiance, is what it is. Yeah, it's ambiance. It's basically something to listen to other than people talking to each other. But when you have passengers in your van, you want to talk to them. You want to interact with them. You want to say, holy cow, that's a McLaren. That is so nice. Yeah, a McLaren just came off of the exit ramp. A McLaren F1. Or not an F1, but yeah, a McLaren just came off the exit ramp. Yeah, over here by 420 or 494. And it's going down the road. He's doing probably about 70, 80 miles an hour. It went by Carlson Parkway. It's a McLaren. Yeah. He's just flying down the road. Yeah. He's in the fast lane and somebody's blocking him from going fast, so he's going to go in the middle lane and he's just going to fly down the road. But one of the things that you have to understand is that every time that you come down the road in Minneapolis, or when you're driving down 494, if you drive the speed limit, everybody's going to push you off the road. Because you're going 65 miles an hour, and everybody wants to drive 90 on this road. They want to drive 90, 80, 70, over 100 miles an hour all the time. They're always in a hurry. They're always trying to get someplace because they never gave themselves enough time management. See, everybody says that if you want time, read the magazine. But I always say, dude, time isn't always on your side. You always have to be ahead of the game. You have to be ahead of the game or be right on top of it, like stink on shit. Because the thing is that if you don't take time serious, you're never going to get out of life alive. You're always going to be stuck in second place. And that's what people always do, is they sit here and they think, oh, I got all this time in the world. I got all this time in the world, and I'm going to live a wonderful and great life. And no, they don't. It's their time is just going by every day like it's just the last day on earth. Yeah. The McDonald's crispy strips. If you're a big fan of chicken at McDonald's, get the crispy strips. I recommend it. They're good. Yeah. I recommend these because they're better than... They're really good. These are really good. Yeah. Better than the nuggets. I think so. But anytime you ever drive down the road, you can get to a destination. Yeah. You can get to a destination in time, or you can get there, because in the words slow and steady wins the race, it actually does. I mean, some of the best race car drivers, the reason why they win races all the time is because they know the track like the back of their hand. They know where the clipping points are. They know where the entrance is. They know how they know what their acceleration needs to be in a corner. Yeah. They know that they can push it so hard on this one corner, but they can't push it on another corner, so they got to take it back a little bit. But some of the greatest race car drivers, the reason why they knew how to win races is because they knew the track. It wasn't about the car. Yeah, it wasn't about the car. It wasn't about the car or the engine or anything like that. It was the driver knowing where he was going and knowing his surroundings. Because most people, when you drive a car, you need to know your surroundings. So I have 17 minutes until I have to be at the airport. But there isn't any backups right now. I'm driving 64 miles an hour. So if it's 17 minutes that I'll be at the office, or that I'll be at the airport, I'll get there right in enough time to go pick up my passengers from Terminal 1 and 2. And then if I'm lucky enough, we can go right to Brainerd, but sometimes you go pick up passengers and they don't show up, so, sometimes you're driving by yourself all the time. Which I think is pretty cool, but I love having passengers. I talk to my passengers. I love my passengers. But sometimes the world we live in throws you a lot of monkey wrenches and stuff like that. Well, the funny thing is that guy next to me on the right-hand side, I thought he would have passed me by now because he was going faster than me, and then all of a sudden he slowed down. And I don't know why. And they want you to maintain a 7-second following distance, but anybody can cut you off in 7 seconds. Yeah. So it's just one of those things that happens. Most of the time, people, when they drive down the road, they always look to be in their lane and just say, I'm in my lane, I don't want anything to happen to me, I think everything's fine. So yeah, people drive all over the place. That guy totally missed his lane too, because he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. No, he wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. He was thinking about something else. And a lot of people do that. Because, so you're driving a Tesla, right? And inside your Tesla, you have this big, huge screen in your center console. And you could change the color, the ambiance. You could, hook your Spotify up to the thing if you really wanted to, and you could just have like Kenny G music play inside your play inside your Tesla, and you could totally like zone out, and then the car can drive itself. Now, I think that's kind of cool and everything, but how many times do you have to drive down the road before the car learns that road enough to where you can actually feel safe to let it drive by itself? I bet you that'd be a pretty weird insurance claim. Oh, I wasn't driving the car, but I was sitting in the driver's seat. So who was driving? Well, I had an automatic drive. Yeah. Right. So, yeah. So I don't think that's going to fly very So, yeah. But for what we don't love now. Okay. But anyway, so 95% of the time, 90 to 95% of the time, when people are driving down the road, their biggest fear or their biggest thing is being late for work or being in a car accident or missing out on that text message. That's what it always is. And, it really is kind of funny, considering the fact of the matter is it's really kind of funny to watch people drive down the road and they always seem like they're always looking down at their crotch. I see it all the time. People are always looking down at their crotch, going like this with their thumb, texting and driving and stuff, and it just irritates the piss out of me. It's like really? That's what you want to do with your life, is that you want to sit there and you want to text and you want to drive your car every day. It's like people want to do it like it's next, like it's the next common thing that they have to do with their lives. And I think it's stupid. I think it's crap. I think, to be 100% honest with you, if you sit there and want to text somebody all the time, then you're just wasting your own damn time. You really are. Because why would you want to have a conversation when you're supposed to be driving? Yeah, when you're going down the road in life, you're supposed to be driving. You're not supposed to be texting. You're not supposed to be talking on the phone. You're supposed to be driving. Now you're probably going to say, well, Jack, what are you doing? Well, I'm not texting and driving. I'm driving and I'm talking. But I'm talking to an audience that is on a computer screen that is, probably not even there. And so, yeah, thank you very much for moving over, because that's what you were supposed to do. You weren't supposed to sit there and constantly block the lane while I can't get around. So they say that the lanes are pretty much, closed up ahead here and everything else, because they're trying to get this road open. So now that it's a construction zone, it kind of slows down a little bit of things. I mean, I'm going to kind of gradually go a little bit slower so I don't run into anybody and I don't hit anybody. But mostly this time of the night, construction's over, and actually they're opening the lane back up. Wow, that was really short. I don't know, I'm going to stay here in this lane just to see what's going on, because it looks like it's open back up, but I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of not slowing down traffic. I mean, everything's open up, so I'm just going to stay here in the middle. Yeah, just deal with it. We will pause for station identification. WJax. Everybody's gotta hear the shit on WJax, WJax, WJax. Pacha! I haven't left, I'm still here, because we don't really pause the show, we just kind of make some noises and say some really stupid things. I was on a topic of cars and related traffic. So 90% of the time, 90 to 95% of the time, people who are driving in their cars, they're worried about getting to work, or they're worried about getting arrested, getting in trouble, driving fast. But one of the biggest things broken in the world is the speed limit. A lot of times, people will drive 10 miles over the speed limit and not even know, and they will not even know that they're doing it. No, they won't. They'll look down at their speedometer and they'll be going, "Oh my God, I'm going so fast." And the one thing is it's instinct, because you're driving down the road and and your mind is sitting there going, "Okay, I'm going with the flow of traffic. I'm holding on. I'm going, and no one's passing me. We're all driving down the same road. We're all going to the same place. We're all going to be fine, right? Right? So we're all going to be fine. We're all going to be driving the same place and get to the same speed." But 90% of the time, people, they think about what they're doing, and then they're not quite sure. They think, "Oh God, I've done this so many times. I should not have, I should know this road like the back of my hand, and I should know where I'm going so that I don't have to worry about, crashing or getting in trouble or doing something stupid, or or being in an accident. So the one thing that people don't account for is they don't account for other people's movements. Like, the bus in front of me is trying to get over, and nobody's letting him in. And yeah, they don't let him in. And he's like, oh, I'm just going to get behind him now so he can go around him and cause nothing but problems. Because that's what people do. They get so pissed off because they don't think about what they're going to do. They don't think about their next action. They just do it. See, when I get outside the airport, I have a decision to make. Do I go to Terminal 1 right now, or do I go sit in the parking lot till about 8:20 and wait for a little bit, then go to Terminal 1? So that means, do I go around the backside, go to Terminal 2, and go sit in Lot B, or go sit in the cell phone lot, or where we're supposed to sit, and wait till time comes? Because I am a little bit early. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock, and if I go to the Terminal 1 right now, I'll be there too early. I'll be there 30 minutes earlier than I'm supposed to be, or like 25 minutes earlier than I'm supposed to be. So if I go there at 8:20, I'll be right on time, because I'm allowed to get 10 minutes before pickup time. Yes. So I'm going to go to Terminal 2, and I'm going to go sit in Lot B for a little bit and think about things. But every time when you come to the airport, you've got to make your decision on what you're going to do before your decision is even made. You have to figure out where you're going to go. Yeah, because you want to have your opportunity in your brain before you even think about doing it. You have to think about your out before you can even think about where you're going to be. Yeah. Because there's a lot of places around here that plan ahead. Even the sign up here says that. It says to plan ahead. It says always plan ahead to make sure that you know where you're going. And always plan ahead to do the right thing. Whether or not doing the right thing is in your vocabulary or in your repertoire, but just plan ahead to make sure that you don't, slow down everybody. And one of the things about it is in a car is you have to understand, you're the one that's the captain of your ship or captain of your car. So you don't let anybody push you around or tell you what to do. If it's a semi-truck and they push you off the road, you're probably going to get into an accident. But the thing is that, they're owned by a big, huge gravel company or a dump truck company. And I'll tell you right now, they run your ass off the road and you push them and you write their license plate number down and you say, oh, this truck ran me off the road. Not only are you going to get yourself a new van, you're going to get yourself a dump truck as well. Here she comes. The light rail. Oh, hey Mark. I saw you message Mark Weber. I just didn't get back to you. Good old airport. MSP. Lies. Lies, I tell you. Yep. But anyway, so my final thought for today is this. I always think that there's a positive aura for anybody, and that people need to think that everything is going to be better the next day. Things can't always be up Shit's Creek without a paddle. You know, you always got to think that something good's going to come out of something. You know, life is going to change. You always have to make, you know, something special. You always have to think that no matter what happens in the world, there's always got to be a positive way out. Everybody sits there and thinks that the world's going to go bad and go to hell in a handbasket, and something bad's going to happen, and it's not. The world we live in is a place where sometimes you worry about yourself, you stay in your own lane, and you think, hey, it can't always be that bad. But sometimes it can't always be rainbows and lollipops either. I mean, there are times when people think, God, what am I doing here? Like, what is going on that I can't figure it out? That that my whole world is turned upside down because of something that happened to me the other day. So sometimes you just have to take the good from the bad and learn from your mistakes, and realize to yourself that it can't always be rainbows and lollipops, but hey, someday it can turn out to be really cool, or it can turn out to blow you up in your face. But sometimes you just have to wait to see what happens. Well, this has been Jack, and this has been the Berserker Claws show, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you had a fun day, and I hope tomorrow brings a ambiance of special occasions and fun, and that you have good things coming your way. All right, thanks again. Talk to you later.